Or that spreadsheet that you put together, is that something original that you created, or is there a source for it?
No, it was a spur of the moment. I mean, it'd been noodling it for some time, but as we spoke about it here in NeoBooks, it sort of caused it to be created.
This is the
Okay.
Serving Life NeoBook Foundation blocks, that one.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's excellent. I've been studying it and playing with it, like putting it into a little prototype that I'm doing for HyperCard.
Nice.
Mhm.
Does it kind of mesh with what you've been thinking about, or it's unique and different?
Well, I find it a very interesting framework. I'm not sure how I would actually use it to classify an argument yet, but I think it's something that could be taught, and I think if it's made easier for people to approach, it could become useful, helping people think, see where their thinking lies.
Just on that, Eric, we had this conversation when that was first presented. The intention is not to have everybody learn that, right? It's just too much for the average person who might be writing a book or writing some papers. My sense is that it could be used as a basis for a tool that would overlay it, and that tool would be AI enabled and be able to help people frame their work in the tool, and then also enhance the tool with framing that's not pre-existing.
Okay, so who's going to read this? Maybe someone assigned to it in a class, maybe.
Yeah.
Right?
Where?
Yeah. So it's really well organized uh, from an academic perspective. You have high-level categories, bedrock, ground, foundation, and it sort of makes sense. Yeah, you're going up levels, structure, living areas, and decor. That's the highest level. And then within each, you have 1 through 8, 1 through 12, all these different things. And there's a lot of interesting text in here. But what I wanted to do was somebody new to this, what could they use? And let me get my Zoom out of the way so I could do this. Okay, yeah, mini VMac. Where are you? Here you are. Okay, so remember the old Macintosh? The old, this is a Macintosh, the classic Macintosh computers. So I decided to use HyperCard, which is an old program that people loved, and a lot of educational materials were created with HyperCard. So I put this in a map, and you could see a progression of the high-level categories. So just starting looking at this, okay, a worldviews map. Where am I? Okay, well, that's what I'm looking at. And there be dragons outside the map. So, all right. And you could go somewhere, and if you're lost, you could always get back home. So there's your I'm lost button. All right. So for fun, I chose a transition. So like decor, it's using Venetian blinds, and living areas like a door opening. Then structure is the boxes. Okay, foundation, it just falls down. And I'm playing with the titles because Asimov had a foundation series, Foundation and Earth, but I'm showing his subcategories. So ground is physical systems, and bedrock is knowledge systems. So I called it the town of Bedrock, like the Flintstones. So trying to have fun with this as I go. And so my first idea, okay, let's have a button for each of these. And for this one, it's okay. There's only 8 of them, and you could click buttons and do things. But I would rather have it like a frame like this. So here, you're in Bedrock, you're learning about knowledge systems, and you're on B1. You see the title and you see 3 boxes, the purpose, what it affords, and what it implies. And it has the nice Mac scrolling, etc. What I would also like to add is an audio button to read this to you, because I did make recordings of all this text just through an automated speech synthesizer, and I was listening to it on a walk. So that's a nice way of learning. And then the buttons would be like this to go to B2. And then you could compare B1 and B2 just like that. That's all I put into this prototype. This is a minimum viable product. If you click this button, do you want to fund development of this program? Yes, I do. Okay. It doesn't do anything, but I do have an idea of displaying a QR code. So like this Wikipedia link to empiricism, that could go to a QR code that you could scan with your phone. So this is an obsolete piece of technology running in an emulator that can prototype how you present information. And here is a Mac SE30 rendering a QR code. Okay, but the global variable is used so that this card, which has a different background, can actually receive this field. It can receive the text from that global variable and put it in this field so that the user can then load the QR file and they could browse it, see the ones and zeros. So I made it 2 steps, so the user has to load it and then render it. And then this button will get you back. I just clicked it, but it's still painting. So let's finish rendering this QR code, and then let's test it out with a phone. Okay, let's see how it works on a Mac SE30. So this is having fun with HyperCard, doing something that it was not in the QR codes did not exist in the 1990s. So let's take a photo of this, and what's fun is that the phone should recognize as soon as the QR code finishes rendering, it should have enough to detect the URL from the QR code, because I think there's some error correction bits at the end that it needs to know. So the phone is really wondering, what is this picture I'm taking? And then at the end, it's almost done. Last line or 2. Okay, last box. This should be the last line. And look, it already detected a URL, and then I could click on that URL in the phone, and it brings me to the Wikipedia page for rationalism.